on me, that it was my performance, and I've gotten nothing but positive reviews.
That veteran's tears, all while the world's richest man waves a chainsaw in the air and giggles. Let's bring in Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thanks for joining us. So your congressional district in Maryland, right outside D.C., is filled with federal workers. What are you hearing from them about how these cuts from DOGE are impacting them and their lives?
Well, it's tens of thousands of federal workers and federal contractors as well. And it's a savage cut into not just their livelihood, but their professional and career commitment. So these are people who are air traffic controllers, health and safety inspectors for agriculture, FDA, medical researchers on cancer or cystic fibrosis or multiple sclerosis at the NIH. And these cuts are indiscriminate and they're savage. And what gets me now is how many of my constituents are telling me that they're being sacked because they're in their probationary period, which sounds like something bad. But in fact, the probationary period is used for people who are getting a promotion. So these are the people who've done very well in their jobs. They're getting promotion to another job in their department or another department, and they're just being sacked indiscriminately by DOGE. Now, the other problem is people don't even know who DOGE is anymore because the administration took the position in court this week that Elon Musk is not the head of DOGE and is not leading DOGE. So who is leading DOGE? Is it the young man who calls himself Big Balls? Is it the racist on the night crew who's proud of the fact that he was a racist before all of his friends were racist and says that we should legitimize Indian hate? Who is DOGE?
I want to play this exchange President Trump had with Democratic Governor Janet Mills of Maine today. He was meeting with Democratic and Republican governors at the White House. Just want to get your reaction to it.
Your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports, so you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
So just if people couldn't hear, Governor Mills was saying we're going to follow the law, sir. We'll see you in court, having to do with the issue of trans athletes in women's sports. What is your reaction, President Trump, there saying that they're going to withhold all funding, all federal funding to Maine if she takes that position?
Well, it's obviously a coercive threat, a Godfather offer from the self-styled MAGA boss. But look, they're losing in court. We're beating them everywhere. We've gotten more than 20 different temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions by judges who were appointed by Obama, by Trump himself, by Bush, by Ronald Reagan. They're all ruling against this administration because what they're doing is violating Congress's power to set up departments and agencies. We created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We created the NIH. We created the Department of Education. And if anybody's going to dissolve it or terminate it, it's going to be Congress, not Elon Musk or Donald Trump. They don't have the power to do that. The core job of the president himself under Article 2 is to take care that the laws are faithfully executed, not that the laws are ravaged and trashed and dissolved and flushed down the garbage compactor. So we're winning in court, and Governor Mills, who's a fantastic public servant, is absolutely right. The place to decide these things is in court, and that's where Donald Trump and Elon Musk are losing every single day.
I mean, I think there have been some victories for the Trump administration, labor unions that have requested restraining orders. I don't doubt that your
the Boston case you're referring to, Judge O'Toole in Boston found that the workers have standing, the union doesn't have standing in that court. So they're winning on a couple of procedural issues like this, but on any of them that go to the question, for example, of whether Elon Musk can take possession of the privacy data of 300 million American citizens. We're winning on that Treasury case. We're winning on the case with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Those people cannot be sacked en masse and the CFPB defunded and all of the operations entities and activities be absorbed in the Department of Treasury. We're winning on those things. And so we're going to continue to win because this is a lawless administration. And Jake, it is serving a totally corrupt agenda. That's why they got rid of 17 inspectors general when it got started. These are the people who saved us $91 billion last year in waste, fraud, and abuse. Those were the first people Elon Musk got rid of, the people who are actually fighting corruption. Meantime, they come in and say that they're not going to enforce the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act anymore, and they disband the units within the Department of Justice that are fighting Russia and China and the foreign kleptocrats. So I think it's becoming obvious to the American people that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not opponents of corruption. They are agents of corruption.
All right, Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Thank you so much for your